I am now showing you, right, that the black one, this is the stress strain diagram, right, stress strain. The black one is the original one, but your diagram is this straight line and this straight line. So this will be your assumption that from the yield point to the fracture point, we cannot take a curve and still find. So therefore the assumption is that from yield point to the fracture point, the curve is a straight line. And if it is that, then it is this triangle, this rectangle, and this triangle, isn't it? So this triangle is already solved. For this rectangle, the strain, right, it is, right, this is this length into this length. So the strain is a strain at fracture minus a strain at yield. Remember, this was a strain at yield. So a strain at fracture minus a strain at yield is this length. So this is this. And from here to here, this is the stress at fracture. A stress at fracture. But this was a stress at yield. So if you take a stress at fracture, this is this total value, minus a stress at yield will be only this side, only this side. So when you go to that triangle, when you go to that triangle, this height is sigma f minus sigma y, yield strength. But for this one, the height is sigma y. The height is sigma y, isn't it? The height of this rectangle is sigma y into sigma epsilon f minus, right? So this one is already done and these two are there. This is rectangle, this is half base into height. So with this, let us go ahead. So I am showing you this. This got slightly tilted, but this is exactly this, right? That you have this, the yield point was 270, and then you have to find epsilon at yield, Similarly, from here you go to fracture stress, which is given as 310. So sigma y is given as 270 megapascal, sigma f is given as 310, and epsilon f, because it is 17%, so it is also 0.17. So epsilon f is also given, epsilon f. So now you only find epsilon y, and now then you can solve everything, isn't it? I told you that this is half this much, which will be epsilon y, into this much will be epsilon sigma. So this sigma is known, this epsilon is unknown. As soon as you find epsilon y, then this triangle area, which is the modulus of resilience, is half into epsilon y into sigma y. And this rectangle is epsilon f, which is known, minus epsilon y. So once you know epsilon y, then you know the length, and the height, of course, is only sigma y. So this is solved. And this triangle is half this length into this length. So once you know epsilon y, then sigma f minus epsilon f minus epsilon y is this length, and sigma f minus sigma y is this length. So all will be known. So now I am saying that epsilon f is given, E is given, sigma y is given, sigma f is given, this is given. Modulus of resilience is half epsilon y into sigma y. So first I am saying that sigma is equal to E epsilon. You know that in the elastic region, this is the elastic region. So sigma is equal to E epsilon. Therefore epsilon is equal to sigma upon E. Epsilon is sigma upon E. Sigma y is 270, E is 70 giga. So epsilon y is 0.003857. Right? So this is already known. That is what I was showing you there, that epsilon y is 0.003857. So this is this simple equation that in the elastic region, sigma is equal to E epsilon. Therefore E is equal to sigma upon E, and for this elastic region, the sigma is yield point, which is given, and the E is also given. So you find it. Now you just multiply it, that half epsilon y sigma y, and find the value. Also I have shown you also that, you see, if epsilon is sigma upon E, right, if epsilon is sigma upon E, then in this equation you write half epsilon y is sigma y upon E into sigma y. So you can also write half sigma y square upon E. without, right, without finding the epsilon y. But you will have to find it later on also. So in some books, they say that the modulus of resilience is directly half sigma y square upon E. So that can also be done, or half epsilon y into sigma y. Both will give you the same answer. Both will give you the same answer. Now, this comes out to be, say, 0.521 megapascal. Your answer may be slightly different, but it comes as megapascal, but don't leave it at megapascal. You see, modulus of resilience and modulus of toughness are defined as energies. Energies required to start yielding. Energy required to fracture the material. So it should be in energy unit. And in MKS system, SI unit, energy is in joules, right? So it is in joule per meter cube. We have done that a lot in the lectures, that the unit is joule per meter cube. Right, megajoule per meter cube, no issue, but it is joule per meter cube. So it was 0.521 megapascal. So I'm writing 0.521 into 10 raised to 6 for mega joule per meter cube. Or you can write directly 0.521 megajoule, capital MJ per meter cube. But don't write it as megapascal. It does not mean anything. You see, the calculation is right, but megapascal or pascal is the unit of pressure or stress. This is not a stress. This is energy required per unit volume, right? Modulus of resilience, modulus of toughness. So the answer is the same, 0.521, but it is not megapascal. It is megajoule per meter cube. Whenever you don't do this, your answer is right. I subtract a small minus half there because the unit is totally wrong, and I want to, transfer this to you, that this is very important. Units must be written and they should be the correct units. So this is the answer of this one. And the second you already know, right? The second part you already know, that modulus of resilience, modulus of toughness is this triangle, which we have already found out, right? Plus this rectangle. So this rectangle is yield into this, right? So yield is this, and this is epsilon f minus epsilon y. Epsilon f is given, epsilon y you found out. So this is this rectangle. And then it is this triangle, half length into height. So half length is again the same, epsilon f minus epsilon y. So length is the same, but height is sigma f minus sigma y. So 310 minus 270. And then you solve whatever you solve it. So again, directly it will come as megapascal, but write megajoule per meter cube or 10 raised to 6 joule per meter cube, right? So again, these problems are not difficult problems, but the thing is that if you have gone through the lecture slides, the PDF and the lecture videos very carefully, and with lecture videos you have this huge advantage. You see, if you were in a class, then you take down all the notes, but video lectures are there. Whenever you forget something, you go back, and in video you can slide anywhere at the 10th minute, 11th minute, whatever, and you can immediately go back and see what I was explaining. So if you go through the PDF lecture notes, class notes, and the video lectures carefully, and what I request always, that whatever examples we do in the class, please close the solution, solve it yourself, recheck it yourself, and then look at the solution. And then of course I send you the homework problems also. So if you do that, then these are not very tough. But if of course you don't go through the lecture notes, you don't go through the book, you are very careless in doing the video lectures and so on. So if your preparation is not good, then anything can be difficult. But if you have seen with the marks and so on, some students in the class are going to 18, 19, 20 out of 20. But then there are some, na'udhu who are only 8, 9, 10. So it tells you all of you are very intelligent. All of you are top students when you enter the university, especially when you enter the College of Engineering. But then this difference is only how much you study and work, right? So that will be there, that I can't do. From my side, I try as much as I can to explain it at your level, not at my PhD level, at your level. And I try to think of all the questions that you will ask. And I try to answer them already in the video lectures. And then every week there are the online sessions. So if there are further problems, then you can do that. Okay. So we have solved full quiz 1 and full quiz 2. Okay. Let me just leave you with a small, more enjoyable moment. A man was in his office and he got too tired and so on with meetings and work and so on. So he said that for a couple of minutes, I will relax. So he made a call and said, "Hello, darling, how are you?" And then he got the answer, "What? You are in such a good mood? You are calling me darling? And what happened to the fight in the morning when you left for office?" He suddenly closed the phone and said, "My goodness, I called my wife." Joke is over. So that is it. So as I was telling you earlier, we have solved all the 2 quizzes, all questions in complete detail with a lot of explanation, hopefully. So now you have your homework problems, right? So there are homework problems for chapters 1, chapter 3 and chapter 6. Please solve them independently. You can of course solve together with anybody, but in the end you should be independent in understanding and solving them very clearly. And for those of you who want to have some A-, A grade and so on, then go to the end of the chapter, chapters 1, 3, 6, and select only one or two more difficult problems, and then you will be done, right? So class examples, tutorial problems, homework problems. If all of these you can do independently, then you are seriously above average, mashallah, already. But if you want the highest marks, then select from each chapter, end of the chapter, only 1-2 problems which are difficult. If you can do the difficult ones, then the others will be simple, inshallah. Thanks a lot. All the best for your midterm exam, and we'll see you in the next class, inshallah. Ma'as salama.